What up, Andrew? Just did all this. What up, Alfonso and everybody? What up, sweet Sherry? Rodney Tillman, what's happening? Red Homestead. Free mind. I'm gonna try to. Hello, James, Chicago. Metal Overlord. America ain't doing too good right now. Let y'all come on in here. I'm still having trouble with this signal, so. Nope, wrong way. Hello, Osmond. I'm not getting cooked and acting like I'm straight. What the hell I mean? Is that one of them I'm gay again people? Am I gay? 224, or that what you saying? You one of them I'm gay folks? I'm feeling good, Sylvia Love. I think somebody just called me gay. If I ain't mistaken, I might be wrong. Come on, computer. All right. I know the signal is. I'm so sick of this. I'm gonna have to find another cook signal. I don't know what else to do about this signal, y'all. I got the best Wi-Fi supposedly. What can I do? Now, I'm not talk religion as per se. As a matter of fact, we're gonna talk about whatever when it comes to religion. Let's say plug into. Hold on. Give me a minute, y'all. It still didn't work. But anyway, the hell with it. It come in and out when it get. I don't know what the hell to do with this. I'm now they didn't do nothing. I was just trying to finagle some things. I'm still trying to get this damn. I moved the box closer. Maybe I should be able to. Hold on. I might be able to plug it in Section 8 internet. Man, Section 8 don't pay what I pay for internet. Section 8 don't pay this for internet. But anyway, y'all can hear me. We good. Let me drop this link, and we're going to get started. I'll email the question. I'm going to need y'all help tonight, so somebody join in. Everybody got their own little views. Everybody got their own view on God, whether there is a God, there's no God, however you feel about it. I want to talk to y'all. Because as we see Timu email, God, dog, JoJo Jones, don't do me like that, man. I'm showing good right now. I'm showing I got a good, there it goes again. I was speaking too soon. He said I got the Timu internet. Or Shine. So, let me get this email topic right here. Let me see. Here you go. All right, and I was reading the email, going through my email today. No, it ain't the TV, it's the damn internet. I keep saying I'm gonna go. I need to text myself, message myself to remind me. No, James Chicago, I heard about that, but that's not why they I just rebooted it, Rashad. It's not working. I'm in the boondocks right now. You see the woods behind me? I know that's just a fake background, but just imagine that's where I am. So I got to figure out something else I need to do because I don't know if it's draining, what you call it, bandwidth or whatever. If I have enough, I'm supposed to have the top of the line, but hey, we're gonna do what it do. So everything we got going on, all these hurricanes back to back. This country right now is straight. It's going to straight. I don't want to cuss. I got to be careful. How long I've been on here before I can cuss? Yeah, I'm good. It is not just here where we are. We're just gonna go back to 2020. From 2020 on up until now, people lost family members, mothers, fathers, uncles, loved ones, just out of the blue. Some stuff they didn't have. They wouldn't. If it wasn't for just what happened in 2020, y'all know I got to be careful. If it wasn't for that, a lot of our loved ones would still be here. 2020. Y'all know what happened. The C word. Just looking at that, tell you something strange is going on. It ain't just normal stuff, right? So, in spite of all that, called hard times and trouble and BS and stuff that don't make sense is not nothing that's new to me. And somehow, in spite of all of what I went through, I still found a way. Somehow, I still believed in God, even though sometimes I hated Him. What up, Nichelle 318? I hope I pronounced your name right. If it's Nichelle, whatever it is, you look good. all my people, my beautiful women, and I don't know what to say about a man, but what up, fellas? But we're going through a lot right now, right? And This guy, he said, your content is slick 50. Slick. I don't know if y'all remember that oil that you put in your car back in the day. It said no hold barred with nothing but real life shit. Question. When did you, hold on. When did you know that you believed in God, or did you like, at what point did you believe in God? I know that's a hell of a question. Like, when did I believe in God? It was, plain and simple, straight to the point. When did I believe in God? He just, as you know, I talk about God a lot. Not the religious God. I don't have a name for him. Jesus, Yah, nothing. I just God, which is a title. God is a title, not a name. So I don't give him a name or her. I don't know if it's he, her, it, they, them. I don't think God has a sexuality. I think God is man and woman. That's why he created man and woman. I think God is both in one. That's just my view. I'm giving you my view, and y'all can later on, if you want to jump on here, give me your view of why you believe what you believe. I'm going to tell you why I believe what I believe, and then you can tell me why you believe what you believe. And we're not going to be on here saying who right or wrong, right? I'm not trying to convert you. Don't you get on here trying to convert me. I'm just going to tell you what I believe, why I believe it, since I was asked this question. And if you want to get on here and tell me what you believe, that's fine. No disrespect to nobody. If you're a Muslim, Hebrew Israelite, Jehovah's Witness, whatever you are, tonight we want to talk about it because we all need something right now, and not no dope. So considering the times that we're in right now, we all, if you don't believe in nothing, if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in none of that, you know something going on though. Whatever it is, something strange is somebody doing something strange for a little change. Whether you believe there's a God or you believe in spirituality, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, Yahweh, Yahshua, whoever you jump at Jehoshaphat, whoever you believe in, I want to talk about it. Hey, Linda Lewis, my friend. We want to talk about it. That's what we're here for tonight. Not to convert nobody. I ain't here trying to get nobody saved and filled with the Holy Ghost. That is not what we're doing. If you don't believe in God, you're welcome here too. And if you don't mind, I would like to hear your opinion. If you feel like it, everybody ain't got the courage to get on here. A lot of y'all scared. Even though I'm not going to embarrass you, we family. You're talking to your uncle right now, or your old man, depending on how you want to look at me. If you're from the country, I'm your old man. But overall, I'm young. This big uncle right here. Ain't no need of being scared. Ain't no need of being, I'm nervous. Somebody told me they were nervous. Ain't no point of being that. We family. So let me see. Let me drop this link again a couple more times for y'all. If you want to get in, hit this link right here. I really would like. Cause especially now, I'm getting a lot of email. I don't go over. I read them. It's a lot. I'm getting a lot of sad. Want to check out. Can't take what we got going on right here. Asking me how I do it, and all I say, man, I just depend on God, because none of us know how to make it through this thing on our own. You might think you do. How you know what you're gonna do tomorrow when you don't know what tomorrow look like? Nobody can see into the future but God. So I'm gonna start with myself. Hold on. Drop this link one more time. Don't y'all leave me on here by myself. Don't let me party by myself. And one rule: each and every one of y'all got the right to believe what you want to believe. Whether you believe or whether you don't, If you're disrespectful, you out of here. That's all I ask is respect. We don't have to have the same beliefs, but we all have to be respectful of what the other believe. That's all I'm asking. I don't care if I don't believe what you believe. I don't care if you don't believe what I believe. If you get disrespectful on here or in the comment section, you got to go. If you go to call a name, calling folk crazy, cause you don't believe in God or whatever, and y'all crazy, you got to go. I ain't gonna call you crazy for not believing, even though the Bible say a fool in his heart say there's no God. I ain't gonna call you no fool. That ain't my job. I'm gonna let God handle that. Some people believe in Jesus, some don't. Whatever your belief is, you safe here if you want to talk about it. So let me go with servant. Well, first, hold on, servant. Let me go into. Now I grew up. Y'all see I'm black. So you in the South, deep South, Mobile, Alabama. So you know pretty much how I grew up. Southern Baptist. With the hooping and hollering preacher. He started off slow and real calm. Then he started up in the tempo. One of them. I grew up with that. I ain't paid no attention. The only time I really paid attention in church when I was a little boy, when he started doing the hooping and hollering, because it was funny to me. But before that, I'd be falling asleep. What's your pawpaw name? You say the family. What's the family last name? I probably know. I'm Mobile kind of, we know everybody. So, grew up Southern Baptist, the hooping and hollering preacher, with the brand new New Yorker. They don't make New Yorkers no more. The car he used to drive a New Yorker. I remember the car like that. The preacher always had the smoothest car, the prettiest car. So my pastor drove a New Yorker. And I always remember looking at the pastor like the house they lived in was right next to the church, whatever they call the house that the church put him in. Beautiful brick home, but the surrounding area, not so much. I never thought much about it. I figured like he worked for God, so God got him living good like that. I figured if you work for God, you're gonna, you'll be rich. Go figure. So early on in my belief in God I was forced to believe. I ain't gonna say KD's wanted to take that down for me, please. We ain't gonna mention nobody else's channel over here unless they support this channel. I don't know. He don't support this, so I don't take his name down. So I won't have to take it down for you. Do not shout out no other channel on here unless it's a channel that rock with us. I don't mind shouting out other channels if they rock with us. That man, I don't exist to him, so he don't exist to me. And I know him. I watch his content. But he ain't gonna shout my channel out on his. Don't you shout his out on mine. So take it down immediately. And from here on out, I don't mind you putting your own channel up here. Y'all know that. I believe in supporting you if you support me. If you have a YouTube channel and you on here watching me, I don't mind you putting your channel up here. I give you permission to do that. I'm no hater. But don't put other people's channel up here. That's only fair, cause they ain't gonna let you put my channel on their feed. Let me make sure you don't remove that. KT's window cleaning. I'm gonna need you to remove that right there. All right. I'm gonna ask you one more time. We don't put other people's channel on here unless they rock with us, and he don't. I ain't knocking him, but the man don't know me. He big on here. I'm just getting there. I'm working my way up. I ain't got no problem with no other channel. I don't. This ain't no hating thing. What I'm saying is, I got people that support me, like chasing Andrew Jackson. I just saw him in here. I'll shout your channel out. That's just the way that go. Some big time whoever, and they don't know me. Don't block him as in just to comment, because I don't think he meant no harm by it. I don't think he meant nothing by it. He just looking out, or call himself looking out. So I ain't mad at him. That's the rule from here on out. Well, it's always been a rule, but I never really stressed it. If you have a YouTube channel and you on here and you watch me, I don't mind you shouting your channel out. But if you somebody, it is not your channel, it's some other YouTube channel, that you watch, whatever. Don't come on here talking about nobody else that don't watch us. Because I guarantee you they ain't gonna let you put my name on their channel. That ain't how this works. So moving on. So as a kid growing up, I didn't believe in all that. I was just going because I was forced to. It ain't because I love the Lord. I believe in God. I ain't believing none of that. It ain't that I didn't believe it. I just went along with it, just like Santa Claus. I went along with it, just like I was a Democrat. I believed in Santa Claus, and I believed in God and Jesus because of my mama. That's the only reason. My mama had me believing in God, Jesus, so I didn't have no relationship with no God. I didn't have no relationship with a Jesus or Buddha. I didn't have a relationship with none of that. I just was ready to get out of church so I can go around here with my friends and play kickball on Sunday evening. It seemed like the best kickball game was on Sunday when I was in church. And by the time I got out of church, the game was over, or they were too tired. I didn't miss the best parts of the game while I was in church. Now, my belief is, as I told him, I've always thought there was a God. There's a difference in thinking there's a God and believing that there's a God. I thought there was a God, but I didn't believe it. Hey. Especially when I found out Santa Claus wasn't real. Who was this dude? Don't worry, my man. You ain't got to worry about hearing my mouth no more. Bye-bye. So, as I got older to make my own decisions, I found myself not going to church anymore when I was old enough to make my own choice, because I never believed it anyway. My mom just made me go. So when I got old enough, I stopped going, and she ain't bothered me about it. And I went on off into the world. And there was an incident, because I went through a lot of things. Did I tell you about how I found out Santa Claus wasn't real before I go any further? I believed in Santa Claus till I was like in the 2nd or 3rd grade. I was at the bus stop, right? Yes, yelling hula. I don't know what the hell it say, but yeah, you're coming invisible. So I was at the bus stop one day, and one of the little kids said Santa Claus got killed. It was right around like a couple of weeks before Christmas. One of the little kids said, "Hey man, Santa Claus got killed, and him and his reindeer ran into the electric pole, the electric wires on it, and he got killed." I ran home crying to my mom. She was like, "Man, what's wrong with you?" I said, "Danny just told me Santa Claus just got killed in a sleigh accident. He got killed. They ran into the electric wires and died." And I was crying like I had lost my parent, like my mom just died. I really believed that there was a Santa Claus, that he was really real. And it was like 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas. I'm like, man, how am I going to get my present now if Santa Claus dead? And that's what she told me. There wasn't no such thing as Santa Claus. I think that hurt me more than believing that Santa Claus was real and he died. It hurt me more to find out that he never was real. So that did something to my belief when it came to stuff that I couldn't see. So farther on down the road, fast forward, my belief in God took a hit. But throughout all that, one thing kept me believing. There were many a day, many a time where I wanted to say, ain't no God. God is not real. That's some BS, because I done had pastors that done try to sleep with me when I went to get saved, because I was going through so much pain and life was beating me down. And I go to the church looking for my salvation, looking for Jesus, trying to be saved, this, that, and the other. Because I remember a time when I was a little boy and I was supposed to be trying to get saved. My mom forced me in the church to tarry for the Holy Ghost. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that. Where you tarry, T-A-R-R-Y, I think that's how you say it. You tarry for the Holy Ghost. That's them holiness churches, sanctified with the white dresses, the white shoes, the white everything, them people. So I'm sitting up in the church at about 7, 8 years old, sitting in the chair, tarrying for the Holy Ghost. Well, you sit in the chair and the saints, or whatever you call them, standing around you, they praying and they speaking in tongues, and you supposed to be saying, Jesus, you just keep saying Jesus, 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 Jesus over and over again until you start speaking in tongues. You're calling on Jesus to take over and fill you with the Holy Spirit. So I'm sitting in the chair, y'all, they telling me, keep saying it, Jesus, 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 he coming, he coming, he coming. So I'm tarrying for the Holy Ghost. So I'm just saying Jesus, 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 over and over again. And I'm starting thinking to myself, when Jesus coming, I'm ready to get out this chair. I'm tired. So what I did was, I faked like I was speaking in tongues. I was doing what I was hearing them do. I was about 7, 8 years old, manipulating. I felt like then this some bullshit, but I couldn't tell them that. So what I did was, I started repeating what it sounded like they were saying. They was and all of those stuff, like, okay, I'm ready to get out the chair, and all the way up to get out the chair seemed like is if I catch the Holy Ghost. So I pretended like I had the Holy Ghost. I started speaking in fake tongues. They fell for it. I was able to get out the chair. It worked. And from that point on, I knew this ain't for me. This ain't for me. So as I got older, I walked away from religion. Not God. Religion. Some kept me always holding on to the fact that there is a God, no matter what I was going through in life. When I was in the third grade, the end of the year, third grade going to the fourth grade, I went to a school, it was mixed. It was like schools had been integrated for like 10 years by the time I got to elementary school in Alabama, where you got black mixed school. So here I am in the third grade. I'm at a mixed school called Dodge Elementary in Mobile, Alabama, black and white. But I come from a community where we all was poor. So we didn't have no built-in swimming pools in the yard. The built-in the ground, below ground, with a swimming pool, a real pool. The little pool we had when I was growing up was ankle deep that you blow up with your mouth. You ain't use no air pump to blow. You blow it up with your mouth and use the water hose to fill it up with water. That's the type of swimming pool I was used to. So I didn't know nothing about a deep end and a shallow end when it came to a swimming pool. So at the end of the year in the third grade, getting ready for summer break, my classmate, Bubba Cruz, he was a little young white kid, had a pool party at his house for our class. So being a little boy, we always wanted to be first at everything. Like when we going to lunch, you want to be first in line. When we going outside for PE, we be jostling to try to be first in line. I'm first, I'm first, I'm first. Somebody little boys always want to be first. We've been competing, we've been competitive since we was kids. Little boys, that's why we love football and racing and what have you. We've always been competitive. So even as a little boy, I wanted to be first. So by with that Bubba Cruz house, I see the pool like, wow, man, it's a beautiful pool. Had a diving board on. I ain't never seen nothing like this in real life. A real swimming pool. I didn't know it had a deep end. I'm thinking it's like a little pool from the house, all the water knee deep. So I wanted to be the first in the pool. So I took off running. Everybody else was in the house. I took off running, jumped dead in the middle of the pool. And went straight to the bottom. Drowning. At like, what, 7, how old are you in the 3rd grade? About 7, 8 years old. Went straight to the bottom. Yeah, Hassan. I don't know words, man. But long as I've been on here saying it, y'all know where it come from. So I ain't tripping. I don't know. I don't own the English language. That makes somebody else look kind of, I ain't make it up. I don't own the words, so hey, I ain't got no copyright on it. Do what you do. I don't care about these folk, these YouTube people. There's some weird people on YouTube. Weird channel. I had folk mad at me. I don't even know. I ain't shout the channel out. Now, I don't know you. So anyway, I done jumped in the middle of the pool, straight to the bottom, drowning. I can't swim. So as I'm at the bottom, I'm kicking. Just imagine you're at the bottom of the pool. You're trying to get to the top to get over there. You can't breathe. So I can't swim. So I'm going straight. The more I kick, the faster I hit the bottom. So I finally hit the bottom, and I wasn't coming back up. So after I done got so tired, I don't have any more energy left. Thank you, no name. After I done got so tired, I don't have any more energy left. I just gave up. I'm dead. And then all of a sudden, it felt like the whole pool shook. The whole pool shook. I mean, every little bit of water rocked me. And this ain't nothing trying to convert nobody. I don't give a damn. I don't tell the story to anybody. A couple of family members as I got older, I ain't telling nobody all growing up because I ain't thinking nothing of it. So I don't care who don't believe me. I ain't asking for no donations at the end of this. None of that. So I don't care if you don't believe me. Believe you want to believe. I'm just telling you why I never stopped believing in God, even when I had a lot of things going on in my life. The way I said, if it wasn't for this, what I'm telling y'all about now, I'd have been stopped believing in God. But I knew there was something out there other than me. So as I was at the bottom of the pool, I felt the water shake. Like somebody had jumped in that was huge. Not like my teacher, just somebody like the whole pool shook is what I'm trying to tell you, the way I can feel it. So after that, something grabbed me so hard the way it felt like it was gonna break my damn shoulder. Snatched me up out the pool, throw me up on the bank, right? So as I'm laying there, then I start choking, the water, I'm throwing up, coughing, choking, and then I get scared. Not because of what just happened. I got scared because, damn, I'm thinking it's my teacher or somebody, and I'm in trouble. And when they tell my mom I'm gonna get a whooping, and I ain't gonna be able to come outside for a long time. Because I wasn't supposed to jump my ass in that pool without nobody being out there. So all I thought about was I'm gonna be in trouble. So as I opened my eyes, expecting to see my teacher and everybody looking at me, wasn't nobody out there. I was by myself. Something snatched me up out that pool. I'm talking about, it wasn't I just floated to the side. First of all, I'm in the pool, ain't no current to push me to the side. I couldn't swim. I'm at the bottom. I got to where I wasn't even kicking no more. I wasn't even fighting no more. I just was like, fuck it. I'm done. So I felt the water shake. I mean, it was a big pool now. I got a diving board and everything. I felt the water shake and it rumbled. It shook me. And then I got hit on my shoulder like the hand of a big man grabbing a child. I was a child. I was 7, 8 years old. And it felt like the hand of a huge man grabbed me and threw me up on the side of on the bank of the pool. So I'm laying there, coughing, choking, throwing up water. And I open my eyes, ain't nobody out there. They still in the house. I thought it was my teacher. I'm thinking to myself, this is my teacher. Or Bubba Crew's dad or somebody. Because it felt like a big, strong man. It didn't feel like no woman. It hit me. They grabbed me hard to where it wasn't no, I thought somebody grabbed me. Maybe somebody grabbed me. Whatever it was or whoever it was made sure that I knew that I had been grabbed because it hit me hard to where it hurt. It was a painful grab. So forceful, the way it was no mistake. It wasn't no, I thought I could have, maybe I could have floated over that some kind of way. I got hit hard with that hand. Threw me up on the side, opened my eyes, nobody there. I ain't tell a soul. A few minutes later, everybody coming outside. I act like ain't nothing happened. Got right back in the pool on the other end. I knew it was a deep end, though. I went to the other end. I ain't get back in the deep end, but I never told nobody. Down sure didn't tell my mama because I was trying not to get, I ain't want to get in trouble. I told an atheist this story one time. This dude by the name of Henry Mack. He an atheist, a black atheist, somebody I never met before till I met him, a black atheist. It was just as shocking to me as meeting my first black Trump supporter. That was shocking. But it was more shocking to meet a black atheist. Because it seemed like all black people believe in God until I got older and realized, no, they don't. So, because of that incident right there, everything I went through after that in life, when it was many a times, I said, man, it can't be no God, man. It cannot be no God for life to be this way. Everything that's going on around the world, everything that's going on in my neighborhood. I'm looking at pastors drop hookers off. Prominent pastors drop hookers off. I live in a city, in a town, where 2 prominent pastors got stuck. Listen to me. If you're from Mobile, Alabama, you got family members from Mobile, Alabama. You done heard this before. One of them times when I was eavesdropping and listening to my grandma and them talk. When how you in grown folk business, you ain't supposed to be in grown folk business. And I'm listening to my grandma and them talk about the 2 pastors. I ain't gonna say their names. 2 men pastors in the community on the down low. In the church building, packing peanut butter. If you know what I mean. I gotta be careful what I said. 2 prominent pastors. One of them still preach, and I ain't gonna take, and the other one deceased. 2 prominent pastors in the church building, getting it on. 2 men. And they got stuck. Like dogs. When dogs sleep, when you see a dog mating a dog, and the dog, they get stuck for a little while. You ever seen 2 dogs? You know how dogs do. They get stuck. 2 men got stuck. And the hospital had to come and bring them out, took them to the hospital. Stuck. And people standing there looking at them. And everybody know them. True story. I ain't gonna tell you the names, but if you from Mobile, you know about it. They was in the church building. I ain't tripping off them being gay and just that another day in the church doing it. They extra freaky. Extra freaky with it. They in the church building, getting it on. I got many a reason, so I thought, to believe that there's no God. So therefore, that incident I just told you all about with that swimming pool, that kept me saying, it didn't have me talking about Jesus. Because at first I was saying it was Jesus that saved me, right? So when I told an atheist the same story I just told y'all, I said, man, Jesus saved me. And he said, how do you know? He said, say for instance, even though I don't believe you, but even if it did happen, How do you know it was Jesus? Did whoever, you said you didn't see who it was. You said when you opened your eye, wasn't nobody out there. So how you know it was Jesus? Did he introduce himself? Because you just told me that nobody said anything to you. You opened your eye, wasn't nobody there. So how do you know who it was? How do you know it wasn't an alien? Even if it happened, even though he telling me, I don't believe it happened, but even if it did happen, why are you getting credit to Jesus if you don't know who it was? How do you know it was Jesus? If you don't know who it was. You just said you don't know who it was, which you had me there. So from that point on there, I'm like, okay. So now I don't do religion at all because I only deal with what I know. I know beyond the shadow of a doubt. Now, I ain't knocking y'all for what y'all believe. You want to call him Jesus? That's your business. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't going to say you crazy. I ain't going to say you wrong. I ain't going to say none of that. All I'm going to tell you is what I believe and why I believe it. So I'm going to go with servant and then Tishbite you after him.
Hey, Big Ward.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I used to have a YouTube channel. I was mentioning your channel several times, hoping it's going to grow when you had a smaller channel, and I'm glad you blew up. But I don't think it's because of me. I'm just glad you blew up on YouTube.
If it was because of you, thank you.
Probably a couple subscribers went to you, but I quit YouTube. So the reason why I came here, I want to say that I'm a combative.
Why you quit? Hold on. Why you quit?
The same reason why you're thinking about quitting.
Well,
I know your reason.
The trolls and the YouTube.
So
mostly YouTube, how they do. Like now I got a video I tried, my last video for the day, they flagged me again. They keep doing that.
Well, I think you're going through frustration that you're trying to do a good thing, trying to help people, but you get hated for no reason. And it gets under your skin no matter what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. It's annoying.
What happens is, yeah, I've been on YouTube for 10 years and I could never understand this problem, why people hating you for no reason. Until 2 weeks ago, I have basically a gift from God that I can go to the spiritual realm and to receive that ancient wisdom. Jesus himself explained me what the problem is. So I came here because I want to help you out so you will never react to trolls and haters anymore, because you're going to understand the reasonings for their hate. And it was so obvious for their hate. And it's so funny that no matter what happens, no matter what they tell you, you will never get frustrated anymore. But it's too late for me because I quit YouTube because of them. So I'm not coming back. So I want to help you with that. And or I was a combative atheist all my life until I had an out-of-body experience and I got to see God, I got to see Jesus, and I got to see devil too. I know all the answers that you have and how to prove a person that God exists without a shadow of a doubt, how to see him, how to make Jesus to reveal himself for you. And any questions you have, I would love to answer.
Now, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
If I'm still living, I don't think I want to see Jesus. I don't know if I can handle actually seeing God and I'm still alive.
You cannot see God's face when you're alive, but if you read in the Bible, I accidentally discovered this method. In the Bible, it says, if you love me, you keep my commandments, and I will reveal myself to you. That's literally what Jesus said. So when I was searching for God because I was atheist, what I started doing Jesus's commandments. You know those foolish commandments when he said, if someone slaps you on the cheek, give him another? From earthly perspective, it doesn't make sense. But what I did, I was like, let me try doing it, see what happens. And I did it to one guy. One guy slapped me. I was like, hey, slap me again. He slapped me again. You won't believe. That's when I started hearing the voice, And later on, I found out it's Holy Spirit. And then when I continued doing Jesus's commandments, like one guy tried to sue me, I was like, hey, take the case and I'll give you extra money. And I sent him extra money. The same day, 100 times more money came. And I was living like that, doing Jesus's commandments, until one day Jesus literally showed up in my room. And then I found,
so you can see him physically.
Yeah, so basically, when he said he promises to reveal himself, you basically kind of see him, but at the same time you don't see him. But it wasn't that I was sleeping, so I could see his silhouette. Like, I can't really see his face, but mentally I know it's Jesus. So and then I found in the Bible that he actually promises to reveal himself to everyone who does his commandments. So I can testify that it's actually true. There is a way to see Jesus while alive.
Well, and it didn't scare you?
No, what happened is he was preparing me to meet him because there were like so many miracles happening. And actually, this miracle's happening to you, but you're not noticing it. I don't know if you notice or not. So a few months ago,
I do now.
Yeah, something happened with your job, and then suddenly, remember, your YouTube views shoot up.
Right. I see. I've been seeing miracles since I was a child.
Yeah, but you know why it happened? And it's so noticeable because before that happened, you started filming videos about God. You weren't doing it before, but you started mentioning his name. So when you had hard times, he started helping you out. It happened a week ago with your channel again because of that strike. I was noticing, is it gonna, like, he's gonna stop working? And the second you stopped working, you had a few videos popped up again. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I stopped working, and I got like 10,000 new subscribers.
It's not a coincidence.
I was at like 63, 64 right before the strike. The strike happened. Now I'm at 70 something.
Yeah, it's
I ain't do nothing no different. Just doing what I've been doing. I went viral on TikTok. I didn't know that. People was writing me. I had celebrities sharing my video on TikTok, the one about the strike. There were celebrities and rappers and musicians and famous people were sharing my video. And I was like, damn. And people were sending it to me, showing me. I was like, I ain't know what to think about it, but like, I'm still not a millionaire, so it didn't do nothing about that. But it happened.
Yeah, and in Psalms 91, it actually says, anyone who mentions my name, I will save him and protect him. So basically, it's God delivering his promise to you because you started mentioning his name, and everything, like the second you have problems, God justifies because God exists in the spirit. And what I want to answer to your questions, because I had doubts myself. I was like, this world is evil. There are so many evil people. How can God exist and create such an unfair world? But this is what he told me how he works. He said he doesn't intervene into regular people, like people who never search for God, never look for God. They live as the way they live. He never intervenes in their problems. So basically, people live in sin, and the life as it goes, like this weird unfair life as it goes, God doesn't intervene. The only time he starts intervening when that person starts searching for him. So basically what happened to you, you started mentioning his name, and I think you started deeply searching for him. That's why he started helping you out. So basically, the more you do, the more commandments you start doing, the more access and gifts and help you're going to start getting. That's what I realized with myself as an ex-combative atheist.
Well, that started happening to me years ago. It ain't just started happening with YouTube. YouTube is just manifesting where y'all can see it. But okay. I saw it years ago. Miracles and like I don't know if you ever heard of angel numbers. Some people say it's the devil, I don't know, but I see same numbers all day, repeating numbers like 1111, 444, and I look up what it means and it's saying something about angels, they're protecting you and this, that, and the other. I even found out the name of a guardian. I don't know if you ever heard of this angel called Uriel.
Oh yeah.
It's it was in the Bible, but I didn't know. I found out they have a guardian angel by the name of Uriel. I think it's Urial. But everybody heard of Michael, the archangel.
Yeah.
But there's other angels, and somehow I stumbled across the name of the one that's supposed to be assigned to me, by the name of Uriel. I never was in that type of stuff. So I'm not, people, man, you crazy. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care. I was an atheist pretty much at one time. And like I said, the only thing kept me believing was that swimming pool incident. If it wasn't for that, I was a full-fledged atheist that nothing exists but man. There is no God. I don't know how we got here. I don't believe in none of that. Y'all crazy. For years, the only thing kept me believing was that pool incident. When my mom died in my arms, I believed in God and hated him. So I wasn't an atheist, but I hated him. I don't know if that's explaining it better.
Oh, well, I know why you hated him, but you have to remember what type of life you lived. You got everything the way you lived. So
I was.
You. So everything is fair. The second you became like on the right path, you kind of repented of your sins. You realized that you were living the wrong life. Everything started going good for you, money-wise, peace-wise.
Well, the money didn't come because I still went years of check to check or whatever, but I wasn't really worried no more. You got people that got plenty of money and they still worry. I had got to a point where I didn't have money and still wasn't worried. I knew the bill was going to be paid. I knew I was going to eat. I knew I was going to make it. When you got people that's got all the money in the world and they end up checking out. So, yeah, James Chicago, they call angel numbers. Look it up. It's a repeating sequence of numbers. I see these numbers all day, every day. I've been seeing them for about 15 years now. I can be at the grocery store. I will see 1111, 444, 333. Just anywhere, all day long. So I Google your friend Google. I Googled what it is, and they call angel numbers. The universe and everything in it is made up of numbers. Did you know that?
But I didn't know that it's attached to the angels, though.
Well, it's a way for them to
communicate
through numbers.
Okay.
Because, like mathematics, algebra, and all that, the universe is based on numbers. Numbers serve a purpose other than just math class. Numbers serve a purpose in life. Most people don't know about that. Numbers have deep meaning. It's a book in the Bible called Numbers. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't read the Bible, so but
okay.
I know about the book Numbers there. Yeah.
Right. It's a book in the Bible called Numbers. Numbers have meaning. They're powerful. Most people just don't know because there's a lot of people who just don't even believe in God like that, or they believe in what they learned in church, what the pastor said. They didn't do no research on their own. My belief in God was formed outside of the church, not in the church. In church, had me not believing in God when I went to church. Now, I ain't knocking nobody that go to church. But when I went to church, what I saw in church had me saying, ain't no God. I ain't never seen, most of the gay people in there, I ain't got it against that. I ain't knocking nobody. But that's where they at. And they ain't not getting busy. From the pastor, first lady, now they got first husband, what they call them? Well, the two pastors married, two men married in church now. I don't do that. I don't do church. So
I had the same problem, and I was going through the same thinking the way you going. I was like, how can this like churchgoers, they're so sinful, they're the most disgusting people, most disgusting people I met in church. And I was thinking the same way, there is no God. But then what God told me, he said, well, those people, just because they call themselves Christians or just because they go to church, they have nothing to do with God. They just read the Bible, they create this picture, but they're the same sinful people. God is personal. It all depends. Just because they do that stuff, it doesn't mean God doesn't exist. You know what I mean? So that's when I realized about God. So it's a personal connection. That's why Jesus will reveal himself only personally, anyone who does his commandments.
Right.
So, and then I was thinking, oh yeah, that was foolish of me to think that just because there are bad people in church, it means there is no God. That just doesn't make sense now. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Not, to me too, it don't make sense, because now I realize, like what you said earlier, pretty much we all have free will.
Yeah.
God ain't gonna force himself on nobody. God is not gonna make nobody do nothing. Because I used to ask, why is he allowing this to happen? Why he let that man molest that little girl? Why he do this? Why he allow this? If God interfered with the person that's doing wrong, he got to interfere with you too.
Mm-hmm.
He can't stop one man from doing what he want to do and then let another man do what they want to do. We all have free will, good and bad. The good man got free will and the bad man got free will. I got a right to do the right thing, and you got a right to do the wrong thing. Now, if you're breaking the law, you're going to jail, but I'm just, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. God ain't going to interfere with nobody unless you invite him to, unless you ask him to. This is just the God I'm dealing with. Now, I don't know about nobody else God. But when I wasn't rocking with God, like you said, all this stuff wasn't happening for me. Now, he still took care of me. God took care of me even when I didn't believe. And he took care of you even when you didn't believe, or you wouldn't be here. Even the non-believer, even the atheist, whether you believe in God or not, he's still taking care of you. He took care of me when I didn't believe. That's why I believe now. That's why I respect God. I don't fear God, I respect. They say you're supposed to fear the Lord. No, I respect God. Pure respect. Admiration. Adore. Not that fake love, but respect. Because here you got somebody who took care of me when I didn't believe in him. And then it came a time when I did believe, I hated him, talked down on him. And he still took care of me. So that got me to the point of where I am today. Not a church, not a religion, not a pastor, none of that. It was just simply somebody loved me that I didn't love first. Imagine, and most women ain't gonna do this, and I don't recommend you do it. But if you got a man and you loving the hell out that man, or the other way around, you got a woman, you loving the hell out that woman, and you never leave her no matter how bad she do you, believe it or not, at some point in time, that person gonna be like, damn, this woman or this man loved me when I wasn't nothing. When I knew I was a piece of crap. And she still stood by me. Or he still stood by me. If you can, I ain't telling nobody to do this. But if you hanging there long enough with that person, no matter how bad they doing you, that same person will turn right around and be the best person you ever met. Some point in time, it's going to hit them. God going to slap them in the face. You got this person right here with you, been rocking with you when you wasn't nothing. And the love you'll have for them becomes so strong. We ain't going to stay with nobody that long. That's how the old folks stayed together back in the day. Grandma stood with granddad when granddad was an alcoholic. We thinking it was all peaches and cream. You know, people don't stay together no more like they used to. That's because grandma stayed with granddad and he was a strong alcoholic. And she didn't leave him. She stayed with him to where eventually granddad said, you know what? I'm sick of this. This woman done rolled with me. I've been right here throwing up, peeing on myself, and she never left me. He gets to a point where he want to do better by her. Not just for himself. He want to stop drinking for her. It happened to my father. My adopted father, rather. Used to drink, beat my mom before I was born. My adopted mother, my biological mother still living. My adopted mother is my mom. And he got himself together simply because she stood by him. See, there you go, Alvin, with that 11-11. It's 11-11 right now.
Oh, it's in your area. Oh, it's in my area too. Yeah, yeah.
You saw it 11:11.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just have to look at the clock, and Osmond just told me.
There we go.
But I was just talking about that, and then boom, there it is, 11:11. So it's like he just right now he just showing out in my face. So well, I'm here now, so make your request known. So instead of asking for a bunch of money and a bunch of foolishness, I'm just asking for just peace of mind. Just keep being with me like you've been with me, and I'm gonna be all right. So let me get on to somebody else, man. I appreciate you joining me.
All right, my man.
Because I got
Yeah,
to work
good luck
tomorrow.
with your YouTube channel, man.
I appreciate it. Oh, what you gonna tell me about the haters?
All right. So you want to fix this problem? I'll fix it for you, because you're gonna understand the logic.
Okay.
So here's what's happening and what I didn't understand. So all haters, what happens is most of them, they grew up without fathers, so they basically adapted the sins of their moms, which is vanity and pride. So the way the sin is designed, the sin of pride, when he sees a guy, I'm talking about those who cling to you, like that, what's his name, Mulch, or the one that clings to you, stays with you. I'm gonna explain you how it works.
They hate me but won't leave.
Yeah. That's what was frustrating to me. I never understand. But what happens with them, they found a guy, so like you, and there is something in you that they like and that they don't have. So what happens is, instead of them watching you and learning from you, when they see the guy who is better than them at something, it doesn't mean money. It's like maybe your charisma or whatever is in their mind. Their sin of pride, it starts eating them from the inside, that they feel like they're lower than you and they cannot help it. They go through that insane misery. The reason why I say it, because I got to see the Lucifer, and when I saw him, he's like the most egoistical, beautiful, this angel that I saw, but yet he has so much hate. So when I asked my angel who was with me when I was in the spiritual realm, he said hate comes from pride. Pride is the core reason of a person hating on another person. And he said the only person who will be prideful, it's always going to be some bum. You will never find a super successful guy who grew himself to become prideful, because those useless guys, they're so useless. The only reason for them to stay prideful, they need to put someone down. So what happens with these people, they have a sin of pride. When they see you, they cling to you and they start putting you down because it eases their pain of unworthiness. And that's basically, once I understood it, oh, now I understand why they're hating on me. So they're hating on you not because there's something wrong with you, but it's because they cannot just sit and watch you to succeed. They have to like put you down to ease their pain. Basically, they like in a mental competition with you. Basically, that's what's happening.
Right. I kind of like caught on to that, and I haven't really been. Believe it or not, the majority of the time when I address them now, I'm just really trolling them. They don't really have me mad. I laugh. I'm really laughing. I'm trolling them back when I mention them. But lately, I stopped doing that. I just don't even mention them no more. If they want to watch me and they help, because they help them with views by watching. So go ahead and watch. Hate me. They send me emails. I don't even respond to them. I'm like, yeah, bless your heart. It sucks to be you. They email me, man. They take time out of their day to email me.
Oh, you can block an email too. Like
I know how I want to. It don't bother me. It's funny. I'm entertaining. Like, man, look at this dude. Look at this woman. Like, wow. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. I'm going to move on. I got them lining up now, so I want to get as many people as I can in here.
All right, man. Yeah, good luck watching your videos.
All right, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Good evening, Tish Bite.
Hello, bro.
Am I saying it right? Am I pronouncing your name right?
Tish Bite, that's right. Yeah.
All right, man. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. I'm sat outside here, other side of the world, Australia.
I was definitely say Australia.
Yeah, sitting in Australia, and it's actually a nice day out here. I got my chicken.
So what time is it?
What's happening? I thought it was interesting. I really enjoyed your story about well, not about you drowning, but it's a bit like baptism, isn't it? Coming out a new person, you know, basically dying and being resurrected, as it were, almost. And that this was your story of how you came to find God. I thought that was quite a spectacular story, and yeah, very moving, and because that's what it is almost. It's like a baptism, isn't it? You went to the bottom of, you almost died and you were raised, and you but you said something else which intrigued me. You were going on about numbers, and as it so happens, and this might be the way the universe works, I've been busy looking at numbers, biblical numbers, and I'm making an app actually in Excel with using Excel sheets, but I'm going to probably convert it to an app that will work online with you know, a bit of programming, maybe some Java or some Python, but one that calculates the because as you probably know, the Hebrew and the Greek each have a number value. So all words have number values, and all verses have number values in the Bible. And you've got to be careful, because there's two different types of numbers, as it were. There's what they call English Kabbalah, and this is where the you've heard of the Freemasons, I take it. Yeah, the Freemasons have taken the whole numerology from Scripture and used it for their own ends, and some of those ends are basically satanic. And if once you understand this and you see how they use numbers, you can see their numbers creeping up everywhere, in all the headlines, in when they talk about things, when the media talks about things. These numbers return again and again and again, because what they've done is they've given, just as the Hebrew letters have a value and the Greek alphabet has a value, they've given a value to the English alphabet. You know, A might be 1, and B might be 2, and C might be 3, and therefore when they do this, they've created a system called English Kabbalah, and they use this in all their headlines and all their media, because you see the same numbers coming back: 11, 33, 44. But this is not scriptural gematria. Scriptural gematria is completely different. This has been what they've. It's like when you take scripture and you misquote it. Like you take a verse out of the Bible and you twist it to use it for your own ends, rather than put it in the context. There's nothing wrong with the numbering system used in Scripture, but it's been hijacked by people who want to use it because they're building a matrix. You've heard of the movie The Matrix, with all the numbers falling down the screen. Well, what they're doing is they're constructing a matrix, because, as you said, numbers are very important, because numbers are an abstraction of what happens in nature. Everything in nature is numbers. The golden ratio is a number. The Fibonacci, how petals go around a flower or around a stem, that's Fibonacci numbers. We've got fractals, which are numbers. So we've got numbers. And the interesting thing is that I have so much. I mean, I've written a commentary on the apocalypse on my website. I've got a commentary on the book of Daniel. I've got a commentary on 7th and 8th century literature. So I have a whole spread of material. But what I'm saying is, we don't understand that the earth goes through cycles of creation and destruction. And we are in such a cycle now, and it's coming to an end. I mean, you probably know that the Hebrew calendar is only we're in the year 5,870 something on the Hebrew calendar. That means that their calendar is only 6,000 years old. And a lot of young Earth creationists will tell you the Earth's only 7,000 years old, but the Earth's much, much older than 7,000 years. So where do they get this from? Well, they get this from adding up all the genealogies in Genesis, etc., and they come to a total and say, oh, well, look, the Bible says the Earth's 7,000 years old. No, what they don't understand is that this cycle is 7,000 years old. The Earth goes through cycles of destruction and creation.
Like dinosaurs.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we're at the end of such a cycle now. Let me ask you: if you had the knowledge, if you knew in advance, right, that everything was going to collapse, that there was going to be huge physical natural changes, earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, meteorites. If you knew that, right, and you were a billionaire, an oligarch, right, if you knew that this change was coming and you were evil, what would you do? You would use that chaos to introduce a new system, right? You would say, well, we're done with this Christianity. The next era, the next period of time is going to be completely different. We don't want, we don't want the ordinary peasants having anything. You will own nothing. We don't want them, we're going to keep them down. We're going to use this chaos to change everything. We're going to get rid of Christianity. We're going to, and what we'll do is we'll steal all the wealth. We know the system's going to collapse, so we'll let the infrastructure fall apart. What's the point of building new bridges and new roads if we know it's going to be destroyed? So we're not going to replace the infrastructure. We'll let it all deteriorate. And what we'll do is we'll steal all the wealth. How do we steal the wealth? Well, that's quite easy. We'll do quantitative easing. We'll do quantitative easing for 20 years. We'll suck in all the wealth, right? And we'll make ourselves richer and richer and richer because billionaires have trebled their wealth since the coronavirus. And what we'll also do is we'll reduce the population because these people are eugenicists. We'll get the population levels right down to a minimum level because we know that when this happens, when the change comes, we're going to have, we can't have 8 billion people fighting for food or shelter or whatever. So we're best to get the population down, and we're going to, and this is what we're in a psychological war. They're perpetrating psychological warfare against us, bio warfare against us. We've had everything these last 3 years. This is not, you say, well, this is God doing it. Well, God knows the beginning from the end. So he knows what's going to happen. But it's those are the people, and they're doing it to us. They are sucking out the wealth. They are making us sick. They are harming our fertility so we can't have kids. They are brainwashing us. They're setting everybody against each other, divide and rule. This is what they always use, divide and rule. We'll set black against white. We'll set Muslim against Christian. We'll set, we'll get everybody fighting in the streets. We'll create utter chaos. And while people are distracted, completely distracted, we'll steal it all. We'll get ourselves ready for this big change, and we'll blame the change. We'll say the change is man-made. We'll say that it's your fault. It's your fault for driving a car and eating meat. The reason all this is happening is because you like a hamburger and you like to drive your car. You've done it. It's your fault. And that's what they're telling you. And we're going to have to tax you because you want to put your heater on and keep warm or watch TV. We're going to have to tax you for using energy, right? But when they want to build new data centers, and they're building data centers everywhere because what's coming afterwards is going to be all guided by AI and blockchain. And they need a lot of energy for that. And in order to do that, they've got to build data centers everywhere because this uses a lot of energy. But that's not a problem. It's not a problem building data centers everywhere and sucking up all the data and having computers and servers everywhere. That's not a problem. But you wanting to drive your car or eat meat is a problem. But the fact that they need 10 times as much energy to gather everyone's data, what they want to do is they want to put everything and everyone on the blockchain. That's what all the social media is about. They're gathering all the data on all of us so that they can construct a digital twin. Have you ever watched Days of Noah?
No, but I'm going to watch it now since you mentioned it, because I'm loving where you're going.
Now, listen, Days of Noah is a Christian, and he's a black guy, and he's really smart, and he's
hold
smart.
on, what's his name?
I don't know his name, but his program is Days of Noah.
Oh, Days of Noah.
Days of Noah. So it's DAYZ of Noah. And he's, like I say, he's a black guy. He studies psychology. He reads a lot about artificial intelligence. He knows exactly where this is going. He's smart. He's smart as anything. And like I say, he's a Christian. He knows what he's talking about. And we need to connect up. We need to connect everybody who knows what's going on. Everyone who's knows what's happening. But listen, they've been planning this for at least 400 years. This isn't something that happened yesterday. They've been planning this. They know what's coming, and they've been planning this change. You look. All our culture is engineered. It's socially engineered. Our movies, our music, it's all comes with messages, subliminal messages. I mean, I'll tell you something. In the 1800s, there was a club called the X Club, and it was a club for like people who were like psychologists and scientists and smart people, philosophers. There were people like Aldous Huxley. I think, have you heard of Huxley? He wrote Brave New World. He wrote the book Brave New World, and his brother, Huxley's brother, became the head of the UN education program. And these people, they were all scientists. Bertrand Russell, philosopher, Fabian Society, all these people. This is in the 1800s, part of the British Empire. And they knew their empire, that all empires go. I mean, you read the book of Daniel. All empires never last. The Babylonian Empire went, the Roman Empire went, the Persian Empire went. They never last forever. It might last 1,000 years, but all empires end. So the British knew that at some point their empire would end. And the problem they had, big problem they had, was the colonies in America. The American colonies were revolting. That they didn't want King George, the Boston Tea Party and all that. And the northern tribes said, look, the northern states said, we don't want slavery, right? Lincoln and all that. So there was a civil war. But the British supported the South. The British didn't want to lose their empire. The British wanted to hang on to it all, right? And they lost it because the America wrote its constitution. They liberated they didn't allow the Union to fall apart. They wanted to incorporate the southern states. They wanted everybody to be treated equal. They wrote the constitution, freedom of speech, all equal before God. But the British didn't want that. The British didn't want that, and they've been trying to undermine it ever since. And so there is this long historical picture that goes back that's very complex. And like I said, they had this club in the 1800s called the X-Men, the X Club, where all these scientists were in. And we see that now reflected in our movies.
Is that him?
Yes, I believe so. It's very hard for me. Yeah. Days of Noah. That's it. Days of Noah. That's him. He's really good. Right. You want to watch him. So they had this club of scientists, etc. And their idea was, and you can see it promulgated now because you've got Twitter, which is now called X. You've got SpaceX. You've got the X-Men Mutants, which was the movie, the X-Men, Wolverine and all that stuff. It's permeated our culture because what they want is this technocratic change. They want to change humanity and mold it into something different. They want to change it away from the image of God and turn us into like a cybernetic
Who are they?
organism. Yeah. Who are they? Well, the
And why? Why do you think they want to do that? How's it benefiting them?
Because the big enemy of Christianity right from the start, not just paganism, but is a form of Gnosticism, which got revived in the 1800s and was called theosophy, and was theosophy, and was revived by Madame Besant and Alice Bailey, and who brought in a lot of the scientists of that time into the movement. And their idea was that they want a one world religion. So that means they have to get rid of Christianity. They have to find some way of melding all the world religions together and fit them. So they talk about ascended masters. They say, well, we're all equal. Jesus is an ascended master. Buddha is an ascended master. Muhammad is an ascended master. And these, you know, they want to reshape world religion. So the basis of this is Gnosticism. This is why Christianity is so badly under attack right now. It is really under attack because I'm across multiple sites on the web, and I see how Christianity is being undermined because they want rid of Christianity, because Christianity says that you and me are made in the image of God. We're made in the image of God. It doesn't say we're gods. It doesn't say you're a god or I'm a god. We're not gods. We're men and we're sinners. But God says, look, I found a way to redeem you, to bring you back, right? To save you, as it were, you know, whether it's out of a swimming pool or whether it's, you know, to save your life permanently. And, you know, you're made in my image. We are supposed to reflect God's qualities, but we don't, because we're weak. We do all the things that we shouldn't because we're weak, but we're given free will. But this is the point, is they don't like that. They say, oh, we don't want that. We're going to, without being too, this is such a complex subject, but even this trend that we see to male and female joining, we don't know what female is anymore. We don't know what male is anymore. We're going to join them together. What do you call it? Transgender. That's, I couldn't think of the word. Goodness me. Yeah, transgender. This trend towards transgender, where you join male and female together, is the basis of this is Gnosticism, Hermeticism, which is all about unity. Unity. Now, unity is a good thing. Nobody's going to argue with unity. I mean, all men, all women should be united in purpose. We should have the same goals. We should have the same understanding. We should be supportive of each other. Unity is great, but they're saying there's this dualism, these opposites. You know, the yin and the yang, the male and the female. We're going to join, because what they're saying is God separated them. It was God who separated male and female. We're going to bring them back together. There's no such thing as gender anymore. There's transgender, right? This is very ancient and pagan, and the beliefs are Gnostic. We're going to bring male and female together into one gender, right? And the key word here is unity, and they're doing it with the politics, if you notice, because what's happened is RFK Jr., who used to be a Democrat, is now a Trump supporter, and Tulsi Gabbard, who was a Democrat, is now a Trump supporter. And so you're getting the subliminally, they're taking the opposites, the Democrats and the so-called Republicans, and they're joining them together, because the key word is unity. We're not going to have the left and the right. We're going to join together. And we say, well, that's a good thing. That might be, you know, we want cooperation. We want people to work together, right? But not the way they're doing it, because what they're doing is nefarious. And they're basically tricking us, because I know what's behind this. And it's this whole thing of this Gnostic Hermetic ideology, right? Because God in the beginning said, look, Let everything produce after its kind. Right? Let everything produce after its kind. A fish has gives birth to a fish. A man gives birth to a man child. You know, a plant reproduces a plant, right? And they're told in the holiness code in Leviticus, don't sow two different crops together in the same field. So, you know, don't put wheat together with barley. You know, don't mix, don't mix and pix. And when you repair a garment, don't use two different types of thread, whatever. But it was the principle, and the principle was certain things. There are boundaries that shouldn't be crossed. There are boundaries where you shouldn't put certain things should not be put together. They should be kept separate, right? They should be kept separate for a reason. Now, maybe you don't know this, but there's scientists now like Michael Levin. He's a Jewish scientist, very smart guy. I'm not decrying that, but he's doing work whereby he's showing that, you know, they used to think that it was all genetics. Genetics determined everything. If I had your gene code, you know, I could remake you with just your genes, but it doesn't work that way. They found out that the genes don't tell us everything. And this Michael Levin has found, for example, he's doing experiments with nematode worms, and you can chop them in half like a garden worm, and it will grow another head or another tail. So, you know, you get your worm, you chop it in half, it grows another head or another tail. But if you use electricity, you can get, and when I say electricity, I'm talking about bioelectricity. You chop the worm in half, you can get it to grow two heads. So each end has a head. And what they do is they use what do you call it? Bioelectricity. They open the ion channel, ion as in not iron the metal, but iron as ION, ion channel, and it will let, for example, an ion channel might be calcium, and they might inject calcium in a certain region of the worm or something like that, and it will then send a message to certain genes to go and develop a head. So what he's saying is it's not all genetics. That there is this bioelectricity where certain channels are opened and closed, which then tell the genes, oh, you have to grow a head here, you have to grow a heart here, you have to grow a leg here, you have to grow an arm here. And he says, literally, I've got him on tape saying, you know, in the future, it might be possible for people who want to have a fish tail to have a fish tail. Right? Now,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, so you wouldn't drown then, would you? Because you'd have a fish tail. But I mean, it's ridiculous. But the point is, some boundaries should not be crossed. God says, look, let everything produce after its kind. Right? We got, you know, God decides what the boundaries are, and how He changes life, not man, right? Not at that fundamental level. But this is the direction that tenocracy is going. They believe that they can extend human life. You know, they want to live forever. They believe that they can network all of us, because Elon Musk is always talking about his Neuralink. He's done experiments.
Neuralink, where he put the chip in the brain.
Yeah. But he's done experiments already where you know, and the thing is, they'll always make it look good, because you'll say, look, with this Neuralink, if somebody's paralyzed, we can link their brain waves to their legs, and or if they're blind, we can now develop electrodes, and with a sort of a Neuralink thing, we can make the eye see, and the brain interpret a digital image and things like that. So, you know, people say, oh yeah, well, this is going to be used for good things, but it never stops with that. I mean, yes, it's just like everything man does. Atomic energy is great.
Who is this Elon Musk guy? Where did he get all his knowledge from?
These people are handpicked. They don't work their way up because they're so smart. They don't become multi-billionaires and oligarchs. They are picked by they're handpicked by the deep state. His grandfather was the head of the technocratic organization in Canada. He himself is from South Africa. He calls himself an African sometimes, which is funny. But he comes from South Africa. But his grandfather was a well-known technocrat in Canada. So from this technocratic organization, Musk is a technocrat. He believes that, technology. Look, there's nothing wrong with technology. I'm not a Luddite. I don't believe we shouldn't have any technology, but they're going to use it to enslave us. There's no doubt about it. And they're going to use it to change who we are fundamentally at a genetic level. They're going to use this new technology. And what will happen is they're trying to dumb us down as a population in general, everyone. They're trying to dumb us down. They're trying to, with the psychology. Yeah, the psychological warfare. They want to keep us confused. They want to keep us on the back foot. They want to keep us dumb. They want to keep us distracted. They want to keep us fighting each other about nonsense. And meanwhile, they are going to introduce this new system, and people won't know what's hit them. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. But what they don't reckon on is God knows the beginning from the end, and we are coming to the end of the cycle. And when the cycle ends, if everything's based on technology, all it takes is a single solar flare, some radiation, boom, and all your technological control is gone. It's like having an EMP being set off. And if you know your scripture, in Zechariah 14, people always say, "Oh, that's talking about an atom bomb," because it talks about men and their eyes. It talks about their tongue disappearing in their mouth, they're basically that scene from what do you call it, Indiana Jones, where they open the Ark of the Covenant and all those ghosts come out, and the Nazi scientist, his face melts and all that. Well, that's what's basically depicted in Zechariah 14. But it's not an atomic explosion that does that. It's probably a solar flare. I would say it's probably a solar flare that God has just launched and said, right, that's it. I've had enough. Boom, finished. Right. So we're coming to the end of this cycle. And I'll tell you something else. If you know it, like I say, I'm working on the gematria. I'm making an app now that does the Hebrew, Genesis, the verse Genesis 1, just the first verse, Genesis 1, verse 1. You can spend hours on that verse because there's 3 triangles in the verse. It's sacred geometry. There's 3 triangles. The center triangle is 703. It's surrounded by 3 triangles that are 666, 666, 666, 666. And the whole outside triangle, which is that big, which has a value of 2,701, right, reflects these numbers all reflect the meaning of Hebrew words, because 666 is the triangular number of 6. Is a triangular number. So if you add numbers 1 to 36, you add them sequentially. So you go 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 up to 36, you get 666. If you add the numbers 1 to 37 sequentially, you get 703. The middle triangle is 703. And the point is that the triangle, the big outside triangle, is 73 length, and 73 is the standard Hebrew value for the word wisdom. So you got the first verse is telling you something. It's telling you that 666, man, 6 is the number of man. It's telling you that man can obtain wisdom, can become wise, can obtain wisdom in this first verse about the creation. But it's God that does that. It's God's doing it. We can't obtain it by ourselves. We can't obtain this knowledge and this wisdom by grasping at it like Adam and Eve did with the fruit. And this is what these Gnostics are telling you. The Gnostics are telling you, you can achieve illumination, you can achieve wisdom, You can achieve knowledge by grasping at the fruit yourself. Just do it. It's down to you. With the technology, you can become a god, right? That was exactly what the serpent said to Eve. Do you want to be like the Elohim? You want to be like the Elohim? All it takes is knowledge. And the word knowledge in Greek is gnosis, which forms the word Gnostic. And the Gnostics were the original enemies of the Christian church going back 2,000 years. You want to have a chat with Days of Noah if you can get him on the chat or something. He's a guy who knows a lot about all this. But what I'm saying is these Gnostics, right, which is the word knowledge, Gnostic, the Greek word for knowledge, Gnostic. It was the original sin. You can be God. All you're lacking is the knowledge. The serpent will illuminate you. And this is what the Gnostics are saying. You can achieve illumination. I will tell you the secrets of it. But what God is saying in the first verse with that, and I've got it all. I can actually send you. I'll send you my blog. It's full of stuff as well as my commentaries.
You got a YouTube channel?
Sorry?
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I have, but there's not much on it. I have to be careful because I don't want to get because I've already been kicked off Twitter. They already got rid of me on Twitter, and on YouTube they've got rid of. I don't make any money on it. They got rid of so many videos, about 5 or 6, and so I have a few still on there, but I hardly post on there anymore. What I do is if I make videos, I've got another platform which is a private platform which nobody can touch, and I can embed videos from there, so I'm completely safe, and that's free to use for anybody who wants to join. So I put videos on from there, and I also have my own blog. And but what I'll do is I've done a lot of work on this, and people don't realize the complexity of this. This goes back for thousands of people. Knew more than they're letting on. The ancients knew more than they're letting on, because I'll give you one example. This one kills me, and the Jews know this. But it's how you interpret it. The word Torah in Hebrew has the value 611, right? 611. If you take, and I did a stream on this. If you take the digits of pi, pi is it's to do with the circle. It's to do with the it's the constant to do with the circumference and the diameter of the circle. And pi is let me see if I can remember the first few digits. It's 3.1415923565. Those are the first few digits of pi. So basically 3.1415. Now, if you take, you can find websites that will, they've actually, now this is funny, they've actually, until about 100 years ago, they could only calculate pi to about 5 digits. And then they managed to calculate it to 30 digits after the comma. Now they're up to 1 billion digits or more using computers, using supercomputers. So they're getting more and more digits. There is a page online, a guy who's constructed his own little, he's got his own little hard drive. He's got his own little hard drive and everything. So, and you can go on the web page online, and you can put in a number, your digits of your birthday, for example, when you were born or something, and you can see where that occurs in pi, and it will go through the digits of pi, and it will say this digit. Let's say you put in the number 135, for example. It will come up and say 135. The position of 135 is in the 6,000th position or something like that, which is interesting. So if you take the number Torah, if you take the number that represents Torah, the Hebrew word for Torah, which is 611, if you put 611 in, right, and if you look at the digits, you because I've done this on an Excel sheet, I put the first 100 digits in a column, right? And you go down and add the digits up. So 1.4.156. You add them up, you get to position 611. It's at the 2,701st position, which is the value of Genesis 1 verse 1. So the value of the first verse of the Bible, right? That position in pi is 611, which is Torah, which means instruction. It doesn't just mean law. So basically, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What this first verse is saying is, I'm giving you instruction. I'm teaching you something. And the inner part of the verse is about wisdom, because 703 is the triangle of 37. So I'm probably not explaining it. Without diagrams, it's hard to explain. But what I'm saying is all this is so interesting. And then you go and look at the word Torah. I did this. I surprised myself because I was looking. I did the statistics on it. And I found that from the first time it's mentioned, the word Torah, which is in Genesis 26, verse 5, it mentions Abraham. Abraham kept all my instructions and my judgments and my laws and my decrees, whatever. It says something like that in Genesis 26:5. It uses the word Torah in the Hebrew. From the first time it uses the word Torah in the Hebrew to the promise given to David in 2 Samuel 7, I think it's verse 18, where God has given him the promise of a descendant who will be the Messiah, who will sit on the throne forever, blah, blah, blah. The number of times the word Torah occurs between that and 2 Samuel 7 is 66 times. 66 times. It's not coincidence. And it's not coincidence that Jesus says in the book of Revelation, he uses number 666 and says, count the number. It is the number of man. So he's telling you, look at the gematria. Look at the gematria, count the number, is the number of man. So what the first verse of the Bible is telling me is that God will elevate us from 666, from the mind of the flesh, to 703, which is the mind of the spirit, which is wisdom. It's God that does that. It's not the serpent. But the Gnostics are telling you it's the serpent that does that. It's technology. It's their wisdom. It's their knowledge. You know the famous scene. This is a killer. Again, the Jews have influenced our culture so much. Batman Forever. You can find the scene, the clip online. It's only a 30-second or less than a minute clip, and it's the Joker, and he's talking to Batman, giving him the choice of who to, if you remember the movie, who to save. You save either one or the other, and blah blah blah. And there's a Joker, and he says, look, he says, he talks about that he's going to be able to suck in all the knowledge, all the data. He's got this, he's built this machine which is what they're doing now. It's the data collection. It's all the social media platforms. It's AI. They're sucking in all the data, right? And he says, and this is what he says. He says, if knowledge is power, a God am I. And he says it in that funny voice, and he laughs. And then he says, was that over the top? But that is what they are doing. If knowledge is power, then a God am I. In other words, we will take all the data, all the information. We're going to put it all on the blockchain. We're going to create digital avatars. We are going to control everything because they know the cycle's coming to an end. And they don't like that, and they refuse that and says, well, okay, God, you're going to bring it all to an end for the last 400 years. Look, this goes back way back. It goes back to now. This is going to sound strange. It goes back to the court of Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I, right? She had a royal at her court. She had a guy called John Dee, and he was a mathematician and a sorcerer, and he was an advisor to the Queen. Do you know how he signed himself? He's used as a signature 007. 007.
James Bond.
James Bond. That's how he signed himself. because he was sent all over Europe, and the theory is that he was acted as a spy for the court, the royal court of Elizabeth I. But this guy wrote a book. He reckoned that he had received messages from Enoch, and he wrote a diary with a secret language in it, which nobody to this day has been able to crack the code. He was a mathematician, and he's got all these symbols and markings in it. And he says it was the angel Enoch gave this to me, and I've written this in my diary. You can look it up. I'm not making this stuff up. You can look it up. But what I'm saying is these people were alchemists and Gnostics. And Gnosticism and alchemy is about transformation. Because I'm a chemist by profession, or at least I was before I retired. I was an industrial chemist, which is a senior chemist. Working, making polymers, making stuff that was used for printing material, you know, a print thickener for a polymer that would make like a thick paste where you could put dye or pigment in and print clothes. You know, in countries like Bangladesh would take orders of our polymer, and we made all sorts of polymers and chemicals and stuff like that. But the word chemist comes from alchemist, and the first alchemists were Gnostics, and the church actually banned it because the church was that way, but which wasn't a good thing. Don't get me right, I don't agree with them. But the alchemists went underground and they did experiments with all different substances because they were looking for the philosopher's stone. You know, you've probably heard of the philosopher's stone. It's supposed to be a stone that would allow you to transform everything into gold. Right, so you could transform other metals into gold, and we look at this now and think, oh well, that's just absolutely ridiculous. You can't have magically change one metal into another metal, and that's true, you can't. But actually, they've done experiments where they've turned mercury into gold, but only a couple of atoms, and it took a huge amount of energy and stuff, and you get a couple of atoms. But that's by the by. I'm going on a tangent. But the point is, they believed that they could, with the philosopher's stone, they could turn metals into gold. The key word here is that alchemists believed in transformation, that you could transform one substance into another substance. And that is the basis of all chemistry, because all chemical reactions are you add this substance to this substance and you get an explosion, or it gets hot, or it reacts and you get a third substance, right? So alchemy was the basis of chemistry. So they weren't that daft. And to be honest, Sir Isaac Newton, although a Christian, was a Gnostic, I believe, because he practiced alchemy, even though it was banned by the church. He secretly practiced alchemy by growing crystals. And we know that he was a brilliant man with his... He discovered that light was monochromatic. Light it could be split with the prism into its different colors, and all sorts of other things, and obviously gravity, the laws of gravity and movement and stuff and so forth. But he was an alchemist. So a lot of our scientists are alchemists, and part of that alchemy transformation is the vaccine mRNA, which is supposed to transform. It's part of their experimentation to transform us at a fundamental genetic level. And people like
the COVID vaccine.
Yeah. Barbara Hubbard wrote about it. I've got a quote on my website. Barbara Hubbard. I don't know whether you've heard of Barbara Hubbard. She wrote about it she's dead now, but she wrote about it in the 1980s. About mRNA changing people in the 1980s. So this is something they've had on the back burner for a long time. And
it's amazing how quick they came up with the vaccine. They already had it.
Well, I can tell you stuff, but I've got to be I've just realized we're on YT YouTube, and I'm gonna limit what I say now, because I could tell you a lot of other stuff, and I don't want to get you your video. in trouble. So I'll shut up now because there's a lot more I could say. But maybe I shouldn't have even said that. I forgot. I thought we were on a phone call. I completely forgot we're on YouTube and other people are watching. But this goes back centuries. So what I'm saying is that there's been this plan. You could trace it right back. You could go back even further to Sabbatai Zevi. I don't know whether you've ever heard of him. He was the Jewish Messiah who declared himself the Messiah in 1666. And you want to look at numbers, man? I can tell you a lot about numbers. I mean, in 1666, he declared himself the Messiah. It was the same year that London burnt to the ground, the Great Fire of London. All these things are connected. People don't know their history. They don't see what's been going on. And what is interesting, that 100 years after he died, the Illuminati were founded by Adam Weishaupt in 1776. So 1666, 1776. Oh, hang on a minute. That date sounds familiar. 1776. Oh, that's the date that the Constitution, that America was founded, wasn't it? So America's founded.
The Illuminati is real.
Yeah. The Illuminati is real. Adam Weishaupt. So the America was founded in 1776. The Illuminati were founded in 1776, which is exactly 100 years after the death of Sabbatai Zevi. Isn't that interesting? 100 years. Is there anything else that's got this 100 years? Hang on a minute. I know another one. I'll come back to this in a minute. I know another one. 1848 was when Karl Marx published his Communist Manifesto. 1848. And guess what happened 100 years after that? 1948. The State of Israel was founded. Now, what's special about the number 100? Well, 100 is 3 times 33.3, isn't it? 33.333. So 3 times 33.33. There's 100 years between this. But now I'm going to tell you something that I blew my mind when I found it. The second verse. Is it the second or is it no, it's the fourth verse. It's the fourth verse. I'm wrong there. It's the fourth verse of Genesis. When God says, let there be light and separate the darkness, he separated the darkness from the light and let there be light. And God saw that it was good. That verse, when you add up all the letters in it, guess what value that has? It has the value 1776. The value about God creating light from darkness. 1776 is the value of the Hebrew letters of that verse. And it's the date when America was founded by the founding fathers. Do you think they chose that date randomly, 1776? And it's a date when the Illuminati, again, to do with light. So you have these competing factions. You have the founding fathers, you say, 1776, we are the light on the hill. We're going to be the city on the hill. We're going to treat all men equally before God. All men are equal before God. America's going to show you how it's done. We're not part of that British Empire. Forget your John Dee. Forget all your Gnostic rubbish. Forget all that. We're going to be a Christian nation. We're going to treat everyone equally. We're going to do things differently, you know. And then on the other side of the ocean, in Germany, you've got Adam Weishaupt saying, 1776, we're the true light. We're the Illuminati. The serpent illuminated us. We're the Gnostics. The serpent illuminated us. We're going to show you how it's done. We've got a different kind of wisdom given to us by the serpent. And it's going to tell us how to do things differently. Stuff your freedom and equality and free speech. This is the battle that you are seeing now, and it's been ongoing for 400 years. And they mean to put us all, black or white, male or female, you know, Jew or Muslim. They mean to get us all under the thumb of this technocratic new world order. So this is deep, man. It goes deep. It goes back hundreds of years. They know a change is coming. They know a big cosmic change is coming, and they're going to try and leverage it to their advantage. And they want to steal it all. They want to be in power. They want us. They want to be up there, and we're going to be down there. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And
this is plain as day.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, and so the question is, you know, we have to keep our faith, which is sometimes very hard because you want intervention now. You know, stop them now. They're slaughtering people. They're slaughtering people, you know, in Gaza. They're slaughtering people in Lebanon. There's wars everywhere. They're doing all this. We need, you know, intervention, really. But these people
Let me ask you this. Is there anybody in a high place right now that's on our side?
Nobody that's stinking rich or has power. Your oligarchs, whether it's, you know, I like Musk and I like Trump. Trump makes me laugh. Musk makes me laugh. And I like the fact that he's sometimes stands up to the other side. But the point is that they all want the same thing. It's just different flavors of the same ice cream, if you know what I mean. It's just different flavors. It's the way they go about it. One side, it's a tiptoe to totalitarianism. One side will do it using force and whatever. The other side will deceive you and trick you into it. And you look. This was a famous discussion between Huxley and you've heard of George Orwell, 1984, Big Brother, and all that, saying this is what's coming, the world, the surveillance, all this. And Aldous Huxley, whose own brother became the head of the UN education, whatever, UNICEF or whatever. These two men, Huxley and Orwell, had a different view of how it would happen. Orwell said it's going to be surveillance, it's going to be force, it's going to be, you know, he wrote his book 1984, it's going to be Big Brother, they'll be watching you all the time, you know, they're going to force this system on you. And Huxley said, no. They're going to make you love the system. They're going to use drugs, they're going to use you know, psychological warfare. They're going to use, you know. So by the time they introduce the new system, that you will be so socially engineered that you will accept it and you will say, "Oh, that's great. That's, you know, that's wonderful." So there's what we're seeing is these two different approaches, and probably a mixture of a bit of both, a little bit of force and together with some trickery and deception. So you've got these different factions. And they want different things, but they in the end they both want to use the technology to basically control us, not to free us. I mean, the famous scene, I don't know if you remember it, Space Odyssey 2001 by Kubrick, with the monkeys, and they got this. There's this black monolith, this big black monolith, right? And they're hitting it with bones, and they're, you know, these monkeys and the scene goes from the monolith, the black monolith. It goes from that scene, it goes to outer space and shows you the space station and shows you the Earth. And so like this is what man has done. We've gone, according to Kubrick, we've gone from being the naked ape, being the monkey man, to outer space. In a couple of 100 years, we've done that. From you know, we've developed with our knowledge, with our power. We've become gods, as it were. But notice these monkeys are all hitting this monolith, this big black monolith. What's that monolith? I'll tell you what it is. It's your iPhone. It's your smartphone. That's the technology that's going to enslave you. It'll track you. They're linking it now to AI. Novel Harari said, we're going to get under your skin. I mean, you have to listen to Days and Noah on this, but he says we'll be able to. We're going to drive the evolution of man. We're going to get under your skin. What do they mean by that? Well, I can tell you what they mean. My son is a type 1 diabetic, right? And he wears a monitor. He has a little thing in his arm, right? And it links to his phone, and it tells him what his glucose levels are. And if it gets too low, it beeps. and then he can eat something or inject or whatever. If it gets too low or too high, he's got an instant readout. That's just a little thing that fits in his arm. It stays there for 2 weeks, and then he has to put a new one on. But when Harari says we can get under your skin, they're going to start off with wearables, which we already have. People wear watches that do their heartbeat and tell them how many steps they take and tell them all sorts of other things. But this is just to get people used to the idea. Eventually, it will go under the skin. And what they can do then, because they've gathered something like 70,000 points of data on each and every one of us. They know you better than your wife or your husband knows you. They've gathered this data already from the social engineering platforms and from what you buy with your credit card and from what you do. They know. They can predict. This is why they talk. We look at movies like Minority Report with Tom Cruise, where they pre-crime. It was James Barr that passed the pre-crime bill. This is what they're getting ready with suckers. They're getting ready for it, where they can predict behavior and they can say, well, we know what you're going to do. You're going to say some bad things or think some bad thoughts. We're going to take preventative measures to stop you from doing that, because they've got 70,000 points of data on us and using AI. And now with the phone, they can geolocate you. And if it comes to wearables and wearing stuff under your skin, they can tell how you feel. Because if you get angry, your heartbeat goes up or you sweat. So I could say something nasty to you, and you've got a wearable on, and your heartbeat goes, ooh, you start sweating. You might not say anything, but my AI tells me, oh, he's about to smack me. He's getting really angry. So they'll be able to control. This is the idea, whether they get to that stage or not, because they need to socially engineer us all, and they need to get us all on the blockchain. But yeah, this is where the future is taking us, and not good. And my what I say is, if God doesn't intervene, we're all stuffed. All of us, we're stuffed.
What you think about all these hurricanes?
Well, you want to what? If you want to, I recommend. I put it on my blog, on my website. Like I say, visit my website. But you want to visit Jim Lee from Climate Viewer. He's very, very not Dane Wigington, but Jim Lee. He's very good. He's got a website, fantastic website. He's just done his latest video on his client. He's on YouTube. His latest video explains the Hurricane Helene, and he says it wasn't a hurricane. It's now bear me out, because it sounds ridiculous. It wasn't a Cat 4. Proper meteorologists who are not with the mainstream media have looked at this and said it wasn't a Cat 4. The winds were 86 miles an hour when it hit the coast. It wasn't a Cat 4. What it was a big, big storm that dropped a huge amount of rain. It was the rain that did the damage. The rain killed a lot of people. It swept whole towns away. It did everything. But the thing is, why are they sticking with it's hurricane? They'll call everything a hurricane or a Cat 5 or a Cat 6. Why are they sticking with that narrative? Because they need to lie to you to tell you it's global warming. It's because the sea's a lot warmer. The hurricanes are a lot stronger, and it's your fault because you put too much CO2 in the atmosphere because you've been burning fossil fuels. But the atmosphere has got a lot more water in it, a lot more moisture in it, because Hunga Tonga blew up 2 years ago. Do you remember that?
Volcano?
Yeah. Do you remember it blowing up?
Where is it?
2 years ago, this volcano blew up, and I live in Australia. It blew up near the Fiji Islands and near the island of Tonga. And this little island was called Hunga Tonga, and it blew up, and it put 1.5 trillion cubic meters of water, 14% more moisture in the air, 14%. And that's taken 2 years to come back down, because it circled the earth more than once. It went into the stratosphere, went 86,000 feet into the stratosphere, and it takes a while for it to come down, and it's coming down now. And when it comes down, all this extra moisture, it's got to come down either as snow or as hail or as rain. And in some places, you've been getting giant hail. In Texas, have had storms with giant hail. In the Appalachians, they had massive flooding, because what happened was these storm clouds hit the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains, and when weather fronts hit mountains, they always drop their water because they can't go over the mountaintops to the other side. So these storm clouds hit the side of the mountains, the Appalachians, and they just dropped all the water, just boom, like that. And the atmosphere contains a lot more water. And I notice this in Australia right now, it is getting cooler, not warmer. We're in spring now, and it's a lot cooler than normal. And the thing is, this is all to do with the cycle and the sun cycles, not to do with anything that we're doing, nothing to do with fossil fuel burning, nothing to do with that. This is to do with the solar cycles, with space weather. The Earth. Think of the Earth as a battery, right? And we've got a magnetic shield that protects us all the way around, like in Star Trek. The shields are up, right? Well, our shields are no longer up. Our shields are down. And the reason they're down is because they're getting weaker and weaker and weaker. It started in 1859 with the Carrington event. And since then, our magnetic shield has been getting weaker and weaker and weaker, which means it allows more radiation in, more charged particles in, more solar wind. And the thing is, the good thing is that not only is our magnetic field getting weaker, but the sun is actually getting weaker. This solar cycle. But the thing is, they're not really compensating each other, and the reason that all this is happening is because our whole solar system is moving through space, and we're entering a quadrant of space where they call the Parker spiral, which is from the center of the galaxy. The magnetism and electromagnetism from the Parker spiral influences our whole solar system. So all our planets are being influenced by this, including the Earth. So our magnetic shield is getting weaker. We're letting more radiation come in, and it affects our weather, because the weather is electromagnetic. It's an electromagnetic circuit. And people that say, "Oh, well, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The weather's not electromagnetic." Oh, what about lightning? Oh, yeah. Well, that's nonsense. Well, what about the Schumann resonance? Oh, yeah. Okay. What about Birkeland currents that come from the North and South poles? You see, people don't know what they've gaslighted us so much. They've told us that all these changes are because of cow farts, and people believe it. You're not allowed to eat meat because that's what's causing the climate change. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It really is. So, yeah, we got to, do we need to do things differently? Yeah, definitely. We need to pollute less. I was a chemist. We need to pollute less. We need to change how we treat nature. We need to make a lot of changes. But believe you me, it's not fossil fuel that's the problem. It's man that's the problem. It's us and what we're doing. And the Earth has gone through big changes in the past, big temperature changes from ice ages to the Jurassic period, where it was 50 degrees nearly all over the Earth. So the Earth is not static; it's always changing, and we're coming to the end of a cycle. And I'll tell you something else: they know this change is coming, and I'll tell you one place that's going to change enormously, and I think they know this. In fact, I'm definitely sure they know this. Africa, the Sahara Desert is going to become green again. There's already a lot of water under the desert. There's a lot of underground aquifers under the Sahara Desert. But over 10,000 years ago, the Sahara Desert used to be green. It used to be full of trees. There used to be elephants and giraffes in the Sahara Desert, where there's now 60-foot sand dunes there were elephants and lions and tigers. Not tigers, they're India. There were lions and elephants and giraffes. They found caves in the Sahara Desert with cave paintings of African animals in them, and they found skeletal remains and stuff like that. So it used to be, Egypt used to be, Egypt is now just the Nile where it's green, and the pyramids are in the middle of the desert, but Egypt was completely green. It was beautiful. And the Middle East was green. And what they've done, now a lot of people don't know this, they built a big dam in Ethiopia just recently, and it's called the GERD. You can look it up. It's GERD, GERD, the GERD, which is the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. That's what it's called, the GERD, Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. It's a huge dam, And why would you build a dam in the middle of a desert unless you knew it was going to fill? And it's already full. It's filled in record time. And why is that? Because the monsoon is changing. The winds that carry the moisture are changing, and you're seeing flooding in places like Saudi Arabia. When the winds hit the side, you've got along the Arabian Peninsula, you've got a range of mountains. When the winds come across the Africa and they hit the side of these mountains in Saudi Arabia, you get flooding. So you've had massive flooding in Mecca and other places you've had, which are normally dry. You've had flooding in Dubai, you've had flooding all over the Saudi Peninsula, because what's happening is the climate is changing on a massive scale, and they know this. And what happens when the climate changes? Well, when the climate changes, certain areas can't grow food anymore because they become drier. But other areas that were once dry become green and lush. And a nation's wealth and its power comes from the ability to grow food. If America was the breadbasket of the world, right? America, they went into the agribusiness. They have massive farms, which grow corn and all sorts of other things. And because they have agriculture of scale, they can really produce, a lot of food. But what happens if it becomes wetter or drier, and you can't grow as much food anymore? Well, you lose your economic power. Countries that can't feed their populations are in trouble. And what's happening now is you're seeing this shift, and they know this shift. And you're seeing not just a shift in the climate, but you're seeing a geopolitical shift, because the BRICS nations, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the BRICS nations, right, have said, we know what's coming. We know that agriculture is going to change. The grow zones are going to change. We know that Southeast Asia is going to be the economic powerhouse of the world in the next decade or two. It's not going to be.
So Bill Gates buying up all that farmland.
Yeah, he is, because that's interesting. That's a very interesting point. He is, and he's doing that for a number of reasons. I'll come back to that in a minute. But what I'm saying is, the BRICS nations know, and they don't want American imperialism anymore. They don't want the dollar dictating what they being used as a weapon and being used for sanctions. So the BRICS nations are basically saying, we're going to create our own monetary system. We're out of here. We're going our own way. You do what you want. We're getting rid of the dollar. We're going to trade with each other. Good luck to you. You do your own thing. You're not our boss anymore. And I can understand that, right? I can understand that. But if you can't grow your own food, and the other thing is, one of the big bread baskets of the world is Ukraine. And look what they've done to Ukraine. They've destroyed it. And the soil in Ukraine is so good that when Nazi Germany was fighting in Ukraine, Hitler took cartloads of Ukrainian soil back to the Black Forest. The soil is 25 feet thick, black soil. Anything will grow in it. but they've been fighting on it and using uranium depleted shells. America and Britain have provided the Ukrainians with depleted uranium shells. What's that going to do to the ground? I mean, people are crazy. This is just crazy. It's just crazy. But why is Bill Gates buying all this land? Well, because he wants to push synthetic food. He doesn't. They don't want people. They want the land because they want to have their nice piece of beef, the elite. But they don't want you having it. They want you in a smart city eating his synthetic beef. And he said he can literally recycle shit and piss and turn it into food. So you'll be eating bugs and whatever he decides to make synthetically, and they'll be using the land to grow their own nice food. This is what they envisage the future like for afterwards. You know, after the change has happened and we all come out the rubble, right? After this big change has happened and we've thrown the rubble off, and some of us have survived, some of us haven't. They'll come out and say, well, you want to eat? You're in that smart city there, and you're not allowed to go outside its limits. They want to ring fence nature. It used to be that's how it used to be in England. The king used to have his own forest where he could hunt, and the peasants weren't allowed to hunt in the forest. The king, you know, there was a death penalty if you went in the forest and you killed a wild deer or something like that. You would have the death sentence on you, because that was the king's table. You know, you weren't allowed to hunt. So they want to go back to because at the root of this, right at the very top, above people like Elon Musk, above people like Trump, above all these politicians who are just puppets, above them is nobility who've traced their bloodlines back for centuries and who've been around for a long time and who've ring-fenced certain knowledge. And they have seen that things, as far as they're concerned, are getting out of control. Ordinary people are getting too much. They're getting too uppity. They want to say in everything. They want to eat well. They want to travel. They want to do this. They don't want that anymore. When the new world starts, they don't want that problem anymore. They're going to be at the top. You're going to be down here if you survive. And that's it. And that's why they're doing this. They're sucking up all the wealth. They're buying up all the land. They're insane. They're psychopaths. But there is reason. There is logic to their actions. There's a logic behind it. And this is what they are doing. You know, so, yeah, we're up against it, man.
What time is it where you are now?
It is now, let me have a look. It's exactly 3 o'clock.
In the afternoon or in the morning?
In the afternoon. It's 3 in the afternoon. It's still sunny. I gotta feed my chickens in a minute, and I've only got a small garden, but I'm growing my own stuff in it. I'm getting ready for what's coming. I'm growing some of my own food, and I've got some stuff stored away. And I know what they're playing at, but I put my faith in God, because, you know, even though I take certain precautionary measures, there's only so much you can do. When they own it all. They've got us over a barrel, man. They got us over a barrel, and they want us fighting each other, because that works for them. They don't care. Look, they don't care what political party you are. They don't care whether you're right or left, as long as you fight each other. They don't care whether you're black or white, as long as you fight each other. They want you fighting. They want you distracted. They want you confused, because then they win. The more division, the more they win.
Exactly. I would like to have you on more often, if that's all right with you.
I'm willing to do it, man, if I can fit it in. I've got such a schedule. I'll give you the links to my website. I put my website up every morning. That takes a couple of hours. I like to I do a section on climate, so that what's happening with the volcanoes and the hurricanes and the climate, you know, so that people are sort of warned about, you know, across the world what's happening. I do usually an article on what's happening in Ukraine. I've got 3 videos on my website about analysis from people who I believe, because obviously it's my choice, and I choose people who I believe are telling the truth. That doesn't mean everything they say is true, or that I believe everything they say, but I've followed them now for 2 or 3 years, and I pay close attention to what they say and to what's happening on the ground and to their analysis. They give a geopolitical analysis, and I watch them and think, I think you're telling the truth. So, you know, I put videos on about what's happening in Israel, you know, the wars and the tragedy. And I've got my, like I say, my blog is linked to my religious work, which is I've got a commentary on Revelation. I've got a commentary on
What's your
Daniel.
website?
My website, my blog is www.biblaridian, which is a Greek word for book. It's Biblaridian. It's B-I-B, Bibla, L-A-R-I-D-I-O-N, Biblaridian dot, let me get this right, .info/blog. That'll take you to my blog. And the blog has a link at the top of the blog are the links to my main website, which has got my commentaries on it and so forth. So if you get to the blog, you can go from the blog to the main website.
Spell that word, that Biblaridian again.
Biblaridian. It's B-I-B, Bib, La, L-A-R, La, Id, I-D-I-O-N, Biblaridion. Dot info.
So L-A-I-D-I-O-N.
Yeah, D-I-O-N. Biblaridion. It's a Greek word for little book. And you know where that comes from? The little book. The little book is the book that the angel had in his hand in Revelation 10. And he gives the Biblaridion to John. And he says, eat this, and prophesy. And John grabs a little book and he eats it. And he says, it was sweet as honey in my mouth, but it was bitter in my stomach. So he swallows the book. Basically, it was to give the word of prophecy, saying, here's the Biblaridion. It's in the angel's hand. He says, eat it, the little book. Yeah, so that's my website. I don't know if you can find it. There's a really good video I watched this morning by Matthew Eert. And he does a video on UFOs and sorcery. And he debunks the UFO and the sorcery and shows that it's all linked to MK Ultra and the CIA and the drugs, the LSD, the magic mushrooms, all that comes are MK Ultra programs. And he goes right back to Aldous Huxley, to the Morgan Stanley, the bankers, to the Dulles brothers, and he shows all the links going back and shows that they planned this UFO deception for a long time. And they can even use radar to make digital objects appear on people's on radar screens, so that people think, oh look, there's something on my radar screen. My radar is following this unknown, unidentified object. Well, actually, it's just an anomaly which they create using special techniques. So he goes into this in his video, and it's really good. I'll watch it. It's just an hour long, but he's a historian, is Matthew, and he has a enormously deep grasp of pagan rituals, and he shows that the drugs all come from pagan rituals. The Egyptians used to use something called ergot, which is like a mold on wheat. Ergot. They used to use that to get high and hallucinate, and it was ergot that the CIA, one of their chemists, extracted LSD from ergot. So they're trying to revive the pagan mysteries. This is what it's about. The Gnosticism and the pagan mysteries, they're trying to revive this. And this is why there's an outright attack on Christianity, because they want to revive the Eleusinian mysteries, the pagan mysteries, and this was the whole counterculture of the hippie movement. The hippie movement was drugs, free love, forget about the family, stick it to the man. But that was all CIA. That was the counterculture to the Vietnam War. But the CIA were behind it. The Grateful Dead, CIA run that. I mean, people don't know how much the culture has been influenced by these intelligence agencies. But you watch that video about UFOs. It's really good. It's really good. He goes right into it. He shows you the origins. He shows you the drug culture, where that comes from. Look, it's the governments have run the drugs. The governments have run the, they run the cocaine from the Iran Contra, Oliver North, all that. They ran the cocaine. They ran the heroin from the Bermuda Triangle, Vietnam War. That was all about heroin. Afghanistan, they ran the heroin from it. The governments are criminal organizations. They're a mafia.
What's that? I just looked up that website. It didn't come up.
Oh, is a way I can email it to you?
Yes.
I can put it in the chat. I've got how can I connect? Hang on.
I got an email.
Oh yeah. I've got if I put connect here, it says I can connect my YouTube. I've put my right. I've shared my email, and maybe join the chat, connect. I don't know if it'll let me do it.
I don't see you. It might not let you do it. It ain't gonna let you do it while you on.
Yeah, it's not letting me do it. Let me just maybe I can look up your can you still see me, by the way?
Yes.
You can, can't you? Yeah, because I've got another page open and I didn't know whether you could see me or not. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go onto my channel, and then I'm going to find your channel. Now, what do I call this? What is this stream called? What's the name of this stream?
It's,
I'm gonna have a look.
Let's
Let's talk religion. Where is God right now? Is that it?
That's it. That's it.
All right, I'll put that in the search bar, and I'll see if I can find it. Oh, technology is wonderful. I've got loads of videos now all about religion and what is God and where is God. Everything but your stream. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No, it won't find it. What is there something specific? Yeah. Is there something specific I can put in to
my channel name?
Yeah, channel name.
Yeah, Big War the Genius.
Big War the Genius, right? Okay, it should find that. I'll just put that in. Big War the Genius. It should find that, and then I can email you my link. Right, I'll pop that in now, and it's looking for it. Yep, and it's found it. It has found it, right, and it's found the live. So I'm going to go on it here. Yep, and it's found it. It's probably going to create echo. Hang on, just for 1 minute. I'll see. Just 1 minute. I'll see if I can email the link. And I'm just going to make sure I get the right link. Right, I've emailed it. I've emailed it. It says Paul wins, but I'll put the Tishbite.
Let me see.
And I'll email it again. It's in the chat on the. There it is again, second time. Have you found it?
Let me see.
It's in the chat next to the video. On next to the live stream video, this the chat that you can scroll.
Yeah.
It says Paul wins the Tishbite, and it's got my link there. www.biblaridian.info/blog. There it is, and it should work.
I still don't see it.
Put it in again. There, it's bottom one, right at the bottom. Paul wins. I had short hair then, and no beard.
I still don't see it.
How
You
come?
see it? You see it?
Yeah, I put it in 3 times. How come?
I don't see it. Do you see it? You see it showing up?
I see it, yeah. Oh, someone's put in mod Paul wins. Maybe they haven't moderated the link or something, so it doesn't appear.
I see. Okay. Good doggy said mod Paul wins.
Yeah, that's right. That's what he's put. So maybe it's not moderated, so it doesn't appear. I've just put it again.
It's not showing up. Can you write down my email address?
Well, I don't get that. I'm going to close it now. The other, so we don't get echo. Right. Yeah. For some reason, it wouldn't do it. Yeah. Strange. But I don't know why it should come up if you put it incorrectly. Bib Laridion, Laridion.
Oh, you said an R.
Yeah, R is in left and right. R for right. It's my pronunciation. It's Australian.
Okay.
It's sorry about that. Bib Laridion. So that's Laridion.
Okay. I saw that.
/blog. Then that'll take you directly to the blog. And if you go directly to the blog, you will see at the top article says Day of Atonement.
I see YouTube. I'm trying to find.
Top article says Day of Atonement on the blog.
Okay, I see.
You got it now?
Right there.
biblaridian.info/blog.
I got it. It's a Day of Atonement.
Yeah, that's it. Right. And if you scroll down, this is the video I'm recommending for you'll have to scroll right down.
Syria on high alert.
Yeah, you go right down. Let me see. The one about the UFOs, which I said, yeah. You scroll right down. It's an article called "The Aliens Are Coming," and under that title, you'll see the hidden hand behind UFOs. episode 3, and I can recommend that. That's excellent. That's really good. Really, it goes very deep. It shows you where it's all coming from and how we're being manipulated. It's very, very good, and it shows you how it's all fake. You know, it's a deception.
So the aliens are coming.
Yeah. And there's a video underneath called "The Hidden Hand Behind UFOs." That's very good. That's very good. You have a watch of that. It's only about an hour, I think. It's just over an hour, and it's well worth it. It's well worth it.
Let me put this in. Hold on. bibleridian.info /blog.
Yeah.
Is that it? Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it now. Yep, it's clear as day. Yep, that's it. That's great. Yep, that's it.
Y'all take that information down right there. I got it on the screen.
Yeah.
And I hope to be able to talk to you again, but it's late and I got to get up in the morning. I forgot I got to go to work in the morning.
What time is it there?
11:48 p.m.
Oh, man, you got to get to bed and get up on time.
Yeah, I got to get up at 4, so I'm gonna sleep a couple of hours.
Oh heck, man! I worked 12-hour shifts. I was a chemist, but on shift, 12-hour shifts, and then traveling time on top. And I know what it's like getting up early and getting home late. It's horrible.
I normally go live. I only go live maybe once, maybe twice at the most a week.
That's still a lot. Takes a lot of time out of your day.
Yeah, I love doing it though. I'm a truck driver doing it in my spare time, but I love doing this, so it's not hard for me. It's not hard for me because I love it, so it's not like work.
Yeah. Oh, so, before you go, for you to look at, look at you like numbers. Look at my gematria index.
That's on your blog too.
Yeah, it's on on my blog. Just look for gematria. There's a search bar. If you look there's a search bar at the side of the blog. There's like a search bar, and you can put whatever you're looking for in. Just put gematria index in there, or gematria 101. Either two. There's two different pages, so it will show you some very interesting stuff. It's got all my streams on it about gematria. So yeah, and like I say, I'm working really hard now making an application that will help people to calculate these numbers. So yeah. Okay.
Well, I hope to have you back, man. It was very interesting. I can listen to you talk all night long. So
yeah,
and my people enjoy listening to you. So I hope to have you back.
Well, the Bible is fascinating. The Bible itself I can talk for ages about the Bible. I'm very familiar with it, and it's a fascinating book. And God has a purpose, and He knows the beginning from the end.
Do you think the Bible really is the Word of God?
Oh yeah, definitely. I do believe that. Yes, definitely. And
why do you feel God needs to put His word in the book?
Well, it was a revelation, wasn't it? It was a revelation given to man, and that revelation happened because speech is something unique to humans. Speech, the ability to express abstract ideas, is not something that animals can do. So we were given a revelation because we can understand it. It's to do with our consciousness and the way we perceive reality. So God has given a revelation to us to show that there is a purpose to life, but that it didn't just stop at a book, because the word became flesh. So the revelation became more than just an abstract idea or a set of rules, as the Jews would look at it, as a set of rules to live your life by, the 10 Commandments. But it's more than that. It's become embodied. It became manifest. The word became flesh, and shows us that God shared in this. However you want to see Jesus Christ, some will say he is God. I have a slightly different view, but he is the Son of God. But the point is that he shared in our suffering. So God shared in our suffering. And that's important to remember when people say, oh, why is he making us suffer like this? And, this is cruel. And what does God? No, he shared in our suffering. It didn't avoid it. He shared in our suffering. So through Christ, God shared in our suffering, whatever way you look at it. So it's not that he is just a capricious God that's disinterested in our well-being, as some would say. God doesn't care. He does, very much so, and didn't avoid human suffering, actually confronted it. And much of this, there is suffering that is through no fault of our own. When a child gets sick, or somebody gets in an accident and gets wounded or whatever. But a lot of suffering is self-inflicted. A lot of our suffering is because of the way we are. It's self-inflicted. Not all of it, but a lot is. So yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed having you, and I got to get out of here and go to bed.
Okay, man.
So please come back.
Sleep well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.